What's playing?
Live in your dreams.
Is that you playing music, Dove?
That's holy. That's your song.
That is my song.
Feel the wind that is blowing. Oh.
I don't know. Did you mute yourself? I'm not hearing the music now. That's okay. Anyway, good morning, everybody, and glad to have us all here for our studying of A Course in Miracles. And you want me to play that song? I'd be happy to do it. Why don't I do that? We'll have Iris pray us in. I'll go find that song and I'll play it. Iris, will you please pray us in?
Yes, I'll pray us in. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent Him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because He who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever He wishes, knowing He goes there with me. I will be healed as I let Him teach me to heal. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Amen.
All right. Now I'm going to play this song that Dove has been listening to. And by Nathaniel Goldberg. No, not that song. It wants to play another song for me. And I'm like, no, that is not the song I asked for. Here we go. Advanced computer sound. Just taking a minute. Everything is slow.
Fly like a river, flow with the ocean, fly on the wind that blows through the winter, dream about love, believe in your dreams, live the sea, flowers blooming. I am here to live this life.
I am here to live this life. Truer words have never been spoken. That's the only reason I'm here. I'm not here because God put me here. I'm not here because I'm enjoying my life here. I'm just here to live it, to do the things that have been given to me, to experience the experiences uh, that have been given to me for my salvation. Every bit of it. That's what I'm here for. So, good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday. We're here in Course in Miracles, gathered for Course in Miracles. And we are, hi Regis, good morning, honey. We are in text chapter 4, section 5, the ego body illusion. And if anyone would like to read, please put your hand up in the chat and I will let you read. Aren't I generous? Come on down. Anybody want to read?
I'll do it.
There's Rafi. I was waiting. Go ahead, Rafi, please.
The ego thinks it is an advantage not to commit itself to anything that is eternal because the eternal must come from God. Ego has no clue what eternity is. Eternalness is the one function the ego has tried to develop but has systematically failed to achieve, of course. The ego compromises with the issue of the eternal, just as it does with all issues touching on the real question in any way. By becoming involved with tangential issues, it hopes to hide the real question and keep it out of mind. The ego's characteristic business with non essentials is for precisely that purpose. Preoccupations with problems set up to be incapable of solution are favorite ego devices for impeding learning progress. In all of these diversionary tactics, however, the one question that is never asked by those who pursue them is, what for? This is the question that you must learn to ask in connection with everything. What is the purpose? Whatever it is, it will direct your efforts automatically. When you make a decision of purpose, then you have made a decision about your future effort, a decision that will remain in effect unless you change your mind. And we're right back to everything is a decision. Discriminate and decide what is best for self-realization, freedom, imperturbable peace, whatever, however you designate or whatever designation you give to why our own purpose, what our only purpose is.
Yeah, thank you, Rafi. Yeah, and the question that you always have to ask, Jesus asks, tells us so many times, ask of all things, what is this for? What is it for? Because if it's for um, me to have a better life, happier life, more money, better body, whatever, happier mind, whatever, these are all things that are characteristic busyness with non-essentials. The busyness with non-essentials is what keeps our mind focused on the ephemeral and not on reality. And Jesus is holding no bar. I mean, he's not holding back at all. He says preoccupations with problems set up to be incapable of solution are favorite ego devices for impeding learning progress. Yeah. That's it. We have a problem. It cannot be solved. The earth is, getting too hot, or, cancer is going around, or, whatever it is. These are problems that we can find solutions, sure, but they're only temporary, and they're not the real solution, because we haven't hit the cause. We are only hitting on the effect. So Rafi, please, yes, go ahead.
We do this from thought to thought. Every time I get a thought, I say, what is this for? What is that thought for? What's the purpose for it? What is it here for? And it goes away because it doesn't have any substance at all. Thoughts are substanceless. If you give them meaning or identify with them, then of course that perpetuates suffering in the stream. It's like if you have a problem, or if I have a problem, and I say, okay, what's this problem for? Well, where is the problem? The problem is only in that ego mind. Well, what's that got to do with me? With what I really am? Well, nothing. And all of a sudden, it's not a problem. It's just a situation that if you turn it over to the divine presence, the situation will resolve itself. The simpler I keep it, the better it gets. Thank you.
Yeah, and the situation is neither good nor bad. The situation is just a blank slate for me to paint whatever I want to on it. So I can paint the situation and say, oh no, this is bad. This is not good. This is not helpful. I'm going to be in trouble. This is going to affect my health, my bank account, my relationships, my life. Somehow this idea that somehow or the other, these tangential issues. This paragraph is just so funny and so beautiful when he's saying things like this. By becoming involved with tangential issues, it hopes to hide the real question and keep it out of mind. This is the whole ego smoke screen in a paragraph. It is the whole ego smoke screen, the bait and switch. That look over here, look over there, look anywhere but where it really is. And that's he says eternalness is the one function that ego has tried to develop but has systematically failed to achieve. I've had conversations within the last day of people saying, oh yeah, we could live forever if we just could understand or get over the idea of figure out the idea of what causes sickness and death. We can genetically modify ourselves to live body and forever in the world, or as long. Like, why? What is the purpose of lugging this thing around with me? It's like, you're have you ever gone on a trip and taken a suitcase full of stuff that you never used the whole time, and you brought it back home and it hadn't even been unpacked because you packed the wrong stuff, or you packed too much stuff, or whatever, but the whole time on your trip you've had to lug this thing around. And that's where we're at. We're on the trip and we're lugging around this big baggage that is full of things that we don't even want or need or use. And yet, it's essential. I can't live without it. When you're packing it, you think I'm going to need this whole thing, right? Yeah, exactly. It's like carrying suitcases full of rocks. Exactly. And yeah, you may never ever need these things. You might get to the hotel you're staying at and they have all the toiletry essentials and the hair dryers and everything that you have packed that you think you need. You don't need it. Or my problem, I always pack too many shoes. Too many shoes. So does anybody, this is a great paragraph. I hope someone else has something to say about it. And if not, we'll go on. Yeah, and there's a lot of good chat. Rafi says, oh, what's this feeling for? Oh, it came up to leave. Good. Welcome feeling. I'll let you go. Exactly. Oh, Iris, yes, please.
Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, I was just thinking that this paragraph is really, really true. Like, I recognize it in myself as well. And it kind of ties in with, I was listening to like some talks from the Eastern teachings, and it really ties in with that because like there's this idea like that I know in my conditioning and stuff, it was like real like preoccupation with non-essentials, exactly what this paragraph is saying, like that I have to do all these things, and I have to just literally do all these things, and it's in order to be uh, a spiritual person or spiritually, and I need to do all these other things. And it's like, honestly, it's like it really hasn't helped except for like just add to the confusion, you know? And in the Eastern teachings, like it's the exact same thing. It's like it's just like just be still and be quiet. First distraction is like thinking that I am Iris. That's really the first distraction. And I mean, it's true. And I mean, when I just sit for a little second and without like the thoughts or the emotions or any of that, like, and i'm just I'm just that. And I don't really need to do anything to be what I am. And and it's just really quite simple. And it's just so complicated, everything. And but I can just sit quietly just for a bit and just be. And um and I really love that. And it makes sense to me. And like, and I was thinking about that. And then like in the earlier sharing, Lynn said exactly the same thing, that just the whole, I mean, and that's why like lesson one comes there, like nothing I see here means anything. It's like, and if it does mean something, like Dove says, then I've given it all the meaning. And like, and it's just really, really very pure. And I'm just quite this this it's true. This thing is this ideas about Iris, and Iris is this and that. This is all like the the illusion, like the Maya. And but it doesn't feel like it when, you know, things. It doesn't really feel like an illusion. Like it really feels real. Like and but if I could just sit for a second and just see, just look, and I'll give back to Lynn. I'll hand the mic back to Lynn.
Oh, absolutely. And that's just brilliant, Iris. That is just brilliant because that's exactly the fundamental thing that that we're looking that we're trying to do here. So real quick, let's see. Okay, there we go. I'm just switching around here. So yeah, I mean that's the whole busy, busy, busy mind. That is all he's talking about here. That whatever I'm doing Whatever it is, it will direct your efforts automatically. When you make a decision of purpose, then you have made a decision about your future effort, a decision that will remain in effect unless you change your mind. That's a beautiful thought because it just says, I have to do this just once. I just have to say, I want the peace of God and really mean it. I mean, to say these words is one thing, but to mean them, that's completely different. But to say that and to even hope for it, this is the first time I think really I've heard Jesus, maybe it isn't, but talking about your future effort. Whenever you make a decision of purpose now, it's going to affect your future thinking. And it's a decision that will remain in effect unless you change your mind. And that's why Jesus in the Manual for Teachers, when he's talking about the characteristics of the teachers of God, he says honesty is consistency. Honesty is consistency. And if you have trust, you will be honest. Means that you will be consistent. That means you can make up your mind and keep it made up, unlike your bed. You have to keep making it up every day. But I made up the world. So what you gonna say? All right. Anybody else have any comments or thoughts about this paragraph before we move on to the next section? All right. Moving on to section 7, the rewards of God. And it's deep. I don't know why people think the first 4 or 5 chapters of this book are not as good. This is freaking brilliant. Who would like to read paragraph 1, the rewards of God, chapter 4, section 6, the rewards of God? Anybody want to read?
I will.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Chapter 4, section 6 is one of my favorite sections, by the way. It actually gets better towards paragraph 4, 5, and 6. And 3, 4, 5, and 6. Very good. Okay. The rewards of God. The ego does not recognize the real source of threat. And if you associate yourself with the ego, you do not understand the situation as it is. Only your allegiance to it gives the ego any power over you. I've spoken of the ego as if it were a separate thing acting on its own. This was necessary to persuade you that you cannot dismiss it lightly and must realize how much of your thinking is ego directed. Yeah, that's for sure. We cannot safely let it go that, however, we cannot safely let it go at that, however, or you will regard yourself as necessarily conflicted as long as you are here or as long as you believe that you are here. The ego is nothing more than a part of your belief about yourself. The other life has continued without interruption and has been said and always will be totally unaffected by your attempts to dissociate it. I don't know. I'm not going to add anything because it speaks for itself. We believe that we are that voice that speaks, and what I've been able to do is, the word discernment, big Regina Dornaker's word. If you take the ministers, MPP, the whole first 6, 7 weeks is on discernment. And I recognize that my mind still does the ego thing, but I look at it and I'm laughing at my own thoughts. I mean, I'm looking, it's like I got it down to the ego is a critic, and it's sarcastic. Now, the word sarcasm, which I once mentioned this, it was right here at Gather, and someone said, "Oh my God, it's a terrible word." If you look up the derivative of sarcastic, it means to peel off the skin, which is exactly what the ego does. It doesn't put a knife in you directly, but it kind of peels the skin so that you're just not the same anymore. That's what I got to say.
And the train agrees. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. So this, Rafi has his hand up. Yeah. Please go ahead, Rafi.
I just want to expand a little bit on what he said about the critic. I see it all the time. My mind is constantly, or the mind is constantly saying critical things, but it says that someone outside of me is going to criticize me, when in fact it's the only thing that criticizes. It judges that a critic. You're not good. You're going to be disapproved of. You're going to be this. This is going to happen. It goes on all the time. And it says that there's somebody outside your window, and if you talk too loud, they're going to criticize you. They're going to attack you. They're going to confront you. They're going to, and it's just a lot of mental activity going on. It has no basis in truth. It has no fact. It's just the ego. That's how it operates. And it's all based on the fear of separation, lack of limitation, concepts. We can't be separate. There's no such thing as lack of limitations, also ego concepts. And this constant criticism that goes on, if I watch it and don't take it seriously because I know it isn't me, it dissipates. More of it will come back later. That's okay. Because if I just keep watching it, it can't run me. And if any feelings come up, that it creates, that's great. They come up to leave. I'll let them go. Acceptance. Very powerful.
Thank you, Rafi. Yes, yes, yes. And then that's it, just acceptance, and realizing. Also, I see Dove has his hand up again, and so does Iris. Please go ahead, Dove.
All right. Yeah. This is in reply to Rafi. So after you do the course one time, say a year, or twice, 2 years, you definitely realize that it doesn't matter about what other people are saying. Until you do the 365 lessons, I think you're still at what other people are saying. And finally you realize, I don't have to forgive them. I have to forgive myself. But actually, it's the same thing. I just want to say it's two sides of the same coin. And Jesus would tell you it doesn't matter whether it's outside or inside. It's the same thought. That's one thing the course will do after you do it a few times, is you realize that what other people say doesn't really mean anything. I mean, books have been written on that. Marianne's original teacher, Rev Whitaker, is it? I can't think of her name right now. She wrote the book, What Other People Think Is None of My Business.
That's Terry Cole Whitaker.
Yeah, Terry Cole Whitaker. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to give that to a client a long time ago, and I don't know if she ever read it, but she still goes through the same stuff. I don't know.
Oh, I read that book and went through the same stuff too. So I mean, that was back in the early 90s.
But I feel I'm pretty cured of what other people think, but I'm still watching my own thoughts. Like just this morning, I realized, David, that's effing sarcastic. You know what I mean? But I'm laughing at it. I'm laughing at it.
Yeah, you gotta laugh. You can't, I mean that's it. You just have to laugh at how silly. And yeah, that's it. Iris, please go ahead.
Thank you, Lynn. You know, the like I just had a recognition that like when the thoughts when the thoughts
You're breaking up.
are saying that like and oh, my Wi-Fi. I think my Wi-Fi may not be good, but
You're good.
it's like when okay.
Yeah, you're good. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Uh okay. So like when like there's a situation and the voice starts speaking like oh I did something wrong, I did something like I shouldn't have, as in like I made a mistake, basically like beating me up over something which is like just something I've done that I thought was really good, like, and I thought it was really good, really well handled, and then like one small thing has gone wrong, and but that voice is relentless in beating me up, quote. And this like getting confused with like exactly what this paragraph is saying, that like it's like only your allegiance to it gives the ego any power over you. So it's like not discerning that this is actually not real. It's just the voice in my head that's saying this. And I mean, it's really not important to anything, but it's, and not being able to see that, you know that, I mean, that happens with everything, like not being able to tell the difference, that oh, this is really not true, this is not true, this is just, and being able to spot it. And that's all I was going to say. Like, that's really really interesting, and I'll hand back to Lynn.
Thank you, Iris. Yeah, and that's the dilemma. You're right. So and the only answer to the dilemma is trust, and just recognize that you're being cared for no matter what. So you can't really make a wrong decision. You can't really do anything because we're being held and carried, and so um, that whatever you think you did wrong, no, it never happened. And of course tells us that over and over, but for us to really understand that, be clear in that, so that we no longer make that same mistake is I mean it's very it's difficult for twisted minds, as Jesus tells us. Yeah, Rafi, please go ahead.
Well, what keeps coming up for me is that nobody can do anything to me or for me because this is all my projected picture. So I'm responsible. All they're doing is being is serving. They are mirrors reflecting whatever I'm putting out. So they're here to serve, as everything is here to serve, as I'm here to serve, as you're here to serve. We are all serving each other, either passively or actively, but we are. And there is no them, and so they can't be responsible for what's going on in my so-called life. The it tends to, I don't know how to put it. There's some sense of abstract about it. If I don't look at it clearly, And once I look at it clearly, that I realize that it's never them. They're just the divine mirrors. And all of this stuff is going on. And if I see something that I'm reacting to or that I don't like, then it's something that I have to correct. I'm responsible. It's my dream. I'm in charge here. And I can't let that thing that says that I'm separate, that I lack, and that I'm limited, and I will run things. And so far, so good.
So far, so good. I like that report. All right. Thank you so much, Rafi. I'm going to actually, I want to play this thing that Bob sent me, if y'all don't mind. I started playing it earlier with Bruce, and we didn't watch all of it. And I don't think everybody was here anyway. So I'm going to play this thing that Bob sent me the other day about reality. And let's see, should I have it up? I just sent it to my son, by the way, because he and I have these conversations all the time. So it's perfect. Let's see, share this and that.
That's nice to talk to your son all the time. That's nice.
Yeah. We are codependent. Here we go.
What if everything you see around you, every atom, every star, every breath, isn't the foundation of reality, but a byproduct of something much deeper? What if consciousness doesn't arise from matter, but instead gives rise to it? Max Planck, the father of quantum theory, once said something that still stuns physicists and mystics alike. I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. This is not a poetic metaphor. This is one of the greatest scientific minds of the 20th century proposing a radical idea, that the universe is not built from particles, but from mind itself. In this video, we'll explore how Planck's insights challenge the very fabric of materialist science and point toward a universal field of consciousness that may be the matrix behind all of reality. Max Planck is known today as the reluctant revolutionary of physics. In 1900, he introduced the idea of the quantum, a discrete packet of energy, which shattered classical assumptions and laid the foundation for quantum mechanics. His work eventually earned him the Nobel Prize and launched a century of scientific breakthroughs. Yet beneath his rigorous equations and empirical methods, Planck harbored a deep metaphysical intuition. He wasn't just a physicist, he was a philosopher of reality. In an era when materialism dominated the sciences, Planck stood apart. While most physicists believed that consciousness was merely a byproduct of brain activity, an epiphenomenon, Planck believed the opposite, that mind is primary and matter is secondary. In a universe of probabilities, particles, and paradoxes, it was consciousness, he believed, that provided coherence and meaning. Planck's quote, often repeated but rarely understood, cuts to the heart of the mystery. I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. In other words, the building blocks of the universe aren't physical, they are experiential. What we call matter is simply the manifestation of something more essential, awareness. From this view, the observer is not just a passive spectator of the cosmos, but an active participant in its unfolding. Planck wasn't alone in this belief. His contemporary Erwin Schrödinger also suggested that consciousness is a singular field, not something chopped up between individuals. But Planck's position was unique because it came from someone deeply embedded in the foundations of empirical science. For him, consciousness wasn't something that emerged from neurons. It was the source code from which even space and time were written. To grasp Planck's view, we must rethink our assumptions about reality itself. The material world, the things we touch, measure, and analyze, may not be the base layer of existence. Instead, it may be a projection, a symbolic representation emerging from a deeper field of intelligence. Just as a video game's images are rendered by unseen code, our physical universe may be rendered by consciousness. Planck saw this not as mysticism, but as scientific truth. If all matter is composed of energy, and all energy exists in quantum states, probabilistic, fluctuating, non-deterministic, then there must be something that collapses this infinite potential into a single experience. For Planck, that something was conscious awareness. Reality exists because it is perceived. It is not the brain that creates the experience, it is experience that gives rise to the illusion of the brain. Mainstream science is built on the assumption that reality is objective and external, that the universe exists independently of us, and that consciousness somehow emerges from matter as a biological fluke. But Planck's view flips this on its head. If consciousness is primary, then materialism collapses under its own assumptions. This doesn't mean science is wrong. It means science has been looking through the wrong end of the telescope. From Planck's perspective, what we call the external world is a projection within a field of consciousness. The implications are staggering. It means the universe is more like a mind than a machine. It means that death, separation, and randomness may all be illusions of perception, not laws of reality. And it opens the door for reconciling ancient spiritual insights with the cutting edge of quantum physics. If matter arises from consciousness, whose consciousness is it? Planck suggested that the field from which matter arises is not personal, it is universal. This echoes the mystical traditions across time, the Brahman of Vedanta, the Ein Sof of Kabbalah, the Tao, the One. Planck's universal mind is not a bearded god on a throne, it is the formless intelligence that animates all form. Everything we experience, thoughts, bodies, planets, is a ripple in this boundless ocean of awareness. Our individual minds are like waves on its surface, and while we appear separate, we are fundamentally expressions of the same source. This idea wasn't just philosophy to Planck, it was the logical conclusion of quantum theory. Because if nothing can exist independently of observation, then everything must be entangled within a single field of knowing. So why should any of this matter to you today? Because understanding consciousness as fundamental changes everything. It means you are not a random speck in a dead universe. You are a conscious expression of the very intelligence that holds the cosmos together. It means your thoughts, your awareness, your ability to witness beauty or feel love. These are not side effects. They are foundational phenomena, more real than stars. Planck's view gives science a soul again. It invites us to explore reality not just with instruments but with intuition, reflection, and reverence. It also bridges the great divide between science and spirituality, suggesting that what the mystic sees in meditation and what the physicist finds in quantum equations are two languages describing the same truth. That mind is the matrix of matter. Max Planck may have launched the quantum revolution, but he also left behind a deeper, more radical idea, one that challenges the core of materialist thinking and opens the gates to a conscious cosmos. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. That statement is not just scientific, it's spiritual. It reminds us that behind every atom is intention, behind every equation is awareness, and behind every moment of your life is the silent presence of universal mind. If this resonated with you, share your reflections in the comments. Has science gone far enough in exploring consciousness? Or is Planck's vision still ahead of its time? Subscribe if you're ready to keep exploring the hidden intelligence that connects us all. Because the universe isn't just out there, it's in here, and it's thinking through you.
All right, what do y'all think about that?
Right on.
It's pretty right on. I have some others. In fact, I was probably going to play after this. David Bohm and J. Krishnamurti. And David Bohm was a great physicist as well. And he had gone through all of his basically science. He came to realize exactly what Max Planck was just, we were just hearing about. And so he realized that it couldn't, that you can't be there can't be a explanation in the mind. And so that's how he got connected with J. Krishnamurti, who was a basically a non-dual teacher. And they began to have these conversations, and they're brilliant conversations about the basically science and spirit all as one thing. So that, I mean, really, just it makes so much sense. And if you're into science, if you're into this stuff, you can definitely learn a lot from these dudes for sure, because you know uh, they're bringing us to the place where, as I learned when I was Baha'i, science and religion cannot disagree. If science says if something is true and religion disagrees with it, one of them is wrong. And you know, more than likely, as much as you can get to it, science is is the reality in it, and so religion has to make sense with it, and that goes with everything. So so anybody have any thoughts they want to share? Any thoughts? Yeah, Dov, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. David Bohm has a book that I got a long time ago, and of course he's exactly as you say. He's like Planck. They were renegade physicists. They certainly weren't up for Nobel prizes because they didn't fall into the numbers game that physicists use, like 2 + 2 = 4. And I happened to just mention this yesterday. We had a meeting. Rafi was there, and a few others, and I mentioned that that Ken has a whole workshop called 2 + 2 = 5. And he says, if anyone talks to you about 2 + 2 = 4, run the other way. Well, someone who was there said, I just don't agree with that Ken remark. But yeah, it's so easy to get drawn into science. I mean, it seems so easy. But if you look at Einstein's E = mc², which is probably the most famous mathematical formula, when you take the m out of it or you reduce it down to 0, you get this huge burst of infinite energy. It's the mass or the body that makes it into a mathematical formula. But when you take the m out of it, E, or energy, becomes the square of the speed of light in centimeters squared. We're not talking about miles per hour, in centimeters squared. You just imagine how many centimeters there are in a mile, and then multiply that by
Itself.
yeah. Centimeters squared. Uh, Speed of light is 186,000 miles per second.
Per second,
So
correct.
if you convert the 186,000 miles into centimeters, you're talking about a number that is beyond the mind.
Yes, yeah. And then that's how, I mean, really, when you talk about like nuclear weapons and the power um, that is released when you break those bonds, the atomic bonds in the explosion, is vast. I mean, I'm talking, you know, uh, you have a nuclear material that is, excuse me, a little bit larger than a softball. That amount of nuclear material uh, blew up Hiroshima. I mean, that's pretty bizarre, but that's how much energy is in the atom, and the repercussions are on and on. Rafi, please go ahead. And I think I'm going to play this other little short video um, about how your thoughts affect reality and experiment, which you guys have all probably seen. But anyway, I thought it'd be fun to watch again. Anyway, go ahead, Rafi.
I used to hear all the time that science stops one step short of spiritual realization, of spiritual actualization. But this guy and Einstein took that other step. They realized that beyond science was consciousness, beingness, and took the step. And frankly, I'm glad that you played that video, because it reaffirmed what I've been saying to myself for quite a while. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Rafi. Yeah, Iris, please go ahead.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you for playing that video. It was just amazing. I loved it. I'm going to listen again. And but it's like I really found it fascinating, because it's like saying, it's kind of like reaffirming in different words that Christ is within us and not separate. And I just love that. That's all. I just really love that. Thank you. And I'll hand back to Lynn.
Thank you, Iris. Yeah, I do too. And yeah, and it is, God is in everything I see, because God is in my mind. Yeah. So yeah. And it's my mind that's making up this universe I think I see. So what did I just do? Accidentally clicked on something I didn't mean to. Okay. So we'll watch this. It's just very short, like less than 5-minute video about, and I'm sure you guys probably have seen it before, but now you're going to see it again. I've saw it so many years ago, and not this particular one.
Just the other. All of these possibilities are in superposition.
Why is this? Get back here. I didn't tell you to go there, old man. There you go.
And here we are, the granddaddy of all quantum weirdness, the infamous double slit experiment. To understand this experiment, we first need to see how particles, or little balls of matter, act. If we randomly shoot a small object, say a marble, at the screen, we see a pattern on the back wall where they went through the slit and hit. Now, if we add a second slit, we would expect to see a second band duplicated to the right. Now, let's look at waves. The waves hit the slit and radiate out, striking the back wall with the most intensity directly in line with the slit. The line of brightness on the back screen shows that intensity. This is similar to the line the marbles make. But when we add the second slit, something different happens. If the top of one wave meets the bottom of another wave, they cancel each other out. So now there is an interference pattern on the back wall. Places where the two tops meet are the highest intensity, the bright lines, and where they cancel, there is nothing. So, when we throw things, that is, matter, through two slits, we get this, two bands of hits. And with waves, we get an interference pattern of many bands. Good so far. Now, let's go quantum. An electron is a tiny, tiny bit of matter, like a tiny marble. Let's fire a stream through one slit. It behaves just like the marble, a single band. So, if we shoot these tiny bits through two slits, we should get, like the marbles, two bands. What? An interference pattern. We fired electrons, tiny bits of matter through. But we get a pattern like waves, not like little marbles. How? How could pieces of matter create an interference pattern like a wave? It doesn't make sense. But physicists are clever. They thought, Maybe those little balls are bouncing off each other and creating that pattern. So they decide to shoot electrons through one at a time. There is no way they could interfere with each other. But after an hour of this, the same interference pattern is seen to emerge. The conclusion is inescapable. The single electron leaves as a particle, becomes a wave of potentials, goes through both slits, and interferes with itself to hit the wall like a particle. But mathematically, it's even stranger. It goes through both slits and it goes through neither. And it goes through just one and it goes through just the other. All of these possibilities are in superposition with each other. But physicists were completely baffled by this. So they decided to peek and see which slit it actually goes through. They put a measuring device by one slit to see which one it went through and let it fly. But the quantum world is far more mysterious than they could have imagined. When they observed, the electron went back to behaving like a little marble. It produced a pattern of two bands, not an interference pattern of many. The very act of measuring or observing which slit it went through meant it only went through one, not both. The electron decided to act differently, as though it was aware it was being watched. And it was here that physicists stepped forever into the strange never-world of quantum events. What is matter? Marbles or waves? And waves of what? And what does an observer have to do with any of this? The observer collapsed the wave function simply by observing.
All right, there again. It's our mind. It's the mind that's doing that. I've seen several different illustrations of that. It's a very well-known experiment. They didn't just do it once. They did it many times. Every time they did it, they recognized that when they went to measure or observe, it changed the operation of the particles. So yeah, the observer is the maker, basically, of the world that we see. All right, so anybody else have any comments or thoughts before we, yeah, it changes everything in the field. Exactly, Dove. My thoughts change everything in the field. And yeah, like Schrodinger's cat, yeah. And I say, don't put a cat in a box. Cats will go in a box by themselves. You do not have to put a cat in a box. Anyway, I love you guys. Thanks everyone for being here with us today, and look forward to seeing you again next week. Love you. And I am going to play that other stuff on Pal Talk. So if anybody's interested, I'm going to play that some stuff from Jay Krishnamurti and David Bohm. All righty.